Hey guys, hope you're doing well. Before I start today's audio, I have given you a selection so you can choose which meditation you want from me next. And I can see that the anti-anxiety one is lead in the lead, but you can still vote. So we have the one to calm anxiety, we have the one to forgive yourself and others, and then we have for trust issues meditation. So you can select one of them, vote for one of them, and I'm still gonna wait until we get more votes. But at the moment, the anxiety one is in the lead. Okay. So another thing I also want to mention before I start today's topic is that Mercury is gonna go retrograde soon, which means the shadow is already here, which means that you may experience some uncomfortable things such as inconveniences, technology breaking down, transportation problems, communication problems, little silly accidents around the house, bizarre things. I have personally already experienced quite a few of those, and it was so bizarre. Things that never ever happen. So I just know it's Mercury. And, I just thought to myself, oh, it started. Here we go. Anyways, it's gonna depend. Every Mercury retrograde is different, and it's gonna depend on your birth chart and where it hits your birth chart. So some people will not experience anything. Some will be affected. Some will be more affected. Some will be less affected. So it's gonna depend, as always. But as we are always focusing on the positive, Mercury retrograde is great for communication from the past. So spells done at this time will work a little bit better. And yeah, we love Mercury retrograde for that because we are all about that. So, having said all of that, let's get into today's topic. Now, guys, you know that I choose my topics usually based off you guys and what you want to hear or what you have asked me, or some experiences from coaching sessions and things like that. So today we're going to be talking about a specific third-party situations that I think happen more often than you think, and maybe you are not aware that this is maybe happening to you as well. And like I said, it's quite a common one. However, obviously, not everybody will have a situation like this. So, this is not for everyone, unfortunately, but it is what it is. So, basically, it's going to be about people who were either rejected because of somebody else or replaced later with somebody else. And the reason for this is that new person is just a better match. So what do I mean? Basically, your person has chosen somebody else over you because there was some kind of a thing that they thought was a deal breaker. It can be an age gap, it can be, different culture, it can be distance, it can be different religions, it can be, not wanting to have kids or wanting to have kids or having kids or not having kids, or, a bunch of things that for them were just like not something that they have envisioned with their future partner. Having said that, this is something that we will typically see with men because they are more logical. Now, having said that, of course, I'm not generalizing. Not all men will be more logical. Absolutely not. It will be some men again, so keep that in mind. And it can also be some women as well, but it is more seen with men. Uh, Now, men and women are clearly different. We have different brains, we have different hormones, and it's just that we are wired differently. Like I said, in majority of the cases, men will be more logical than women. And when it comes to romance and love, they will think more with their head than with their heart, as we call it. So they will kind of bring decisions based of logic more than emotions and how they're feeling. So what can happen and happens all the time is that you can have beautiful chemistry with somebody, like incredible chemistry, great intimate life, and you know, deep emotional connection and that strong energetic bond. But there's some reason why they don't think that it would work for them long term, and they just want something that is easier, something that is something they have envisioned is perfect for them. And even though there will be this lack of this deep connection emotionally and chemistry, they will still go for that just because it's more convenient for them. And it happens all the time, it happens quite often. And then you will wonder, is this other person better than me? And you're gonna go straight into your insecurities because this will trigger you, obviously. And you're gonna think, this person is better than me, this person is prettier than me, this person they love more than me, they're more attracted to this person than me, they're gonna stay forever with this person, all kinds of things. Now, the thing will be that this person will check all the boxes and you will not. And this is why they're going to choose them, because it's going to be easier for some reason. Or, maybe you were very anxious during the connection and they just didn't like, maybe you were controlling, maybe you were like seeking validation all the time, and they just wanted something that was easier. And then you're going to feel even worse and more anxious because you're going to think that you were the problem and that this new person, you're just gonna put this person on a pedestal. They're gonna be like their perfect match and all of that. And yeah, sure, they will tick their boxes, so they're gonna think this is my perfect match. However, there's gonna be that lack of chemistry and love, which we do need in relationships, right? It just makes it so much better. They can have a nice time with this person. I'm sure this person is lovely, right? And I'm sure that, they can be great friends and just enjoy the same things. But yeah, I mean, love is about a deep connection, really. And it's about chemistry as well in some cases, and not so much about friendship. So, anyways, I'm going to give you an example. And I was actually inspired to give this example because it was this reel I have seen on social media somewhere. And it was, of course, a man describing a situation from the TV show Sex and the City. I don't know if you guys, the younger ones, know what I'm talking about. I mean, it's very famous. I think everybody heard of it and kind of knows the story. I never really liked that show. I just, I never enjoyed it. I don't know why. I think it was the acting or something. I just didn't like the characters. Yeah, but that's just me. But I did watch quite a lot of it, so I know the storyline. So basically, this this reel was around the fact that Mr. Big has chosen Natasha. I think her name was Natasha over Carrie, which is like the main character, Carrie. And she writes the column Sex in the City, right? And Mr. Big, he has his nickname because not what you think, okay? Because he's like a Mr. Big Shot. So he's this big businessman. And Carrie and him are just not like logically a good match, but they have this connection and they have this chemistry. And anyways, chose, sorry, another girl. And then this man in the reel has explained it for all of us, right? He said that, oh, of course he chose Natasha because Carrie is just not, not for him, she's just not in his circle, sorry. And, she always has those cigarettes hanging from her mouth, and she dresses trashy, and Natasha is just sophisticated, she's elegant, and just like him, they're just a better match. And she comes from a good family, and she works for, I don't know, Ralph Lauren or something, and blah blah blah. Of course he chose her, and the man was kind of explaining it that that's the logical choice. And I just thought, yeah, of course, a man would think that. But then later in the show, what happened was that Mr. Big was cheating on Natasha with Carrie because he just couldn't resist the chemistry and the connection. And obviously, at the end of the show, they end up married. So, unfortunately, not every connection like this ends with a happy ending, because some people just never decide to follow their heart and their feelings. But what I'm trying to say is that very often the third person will be chosen because they are just more convenient. It's easier for some reason, because it can be a bunch of reasons why. And it doesn't mean that they don't find you attractive or more attractive than this new person. It doesn't mean they don't love you, they don't care. It just means that they are, just very logical, and they don't think that you guys would work long term. So this is, yeah, a difficult situation, but this is something that I work on all the time in the practice, and it can be fixed. But what is very important is that you do not put this third person on that pedestal, because we tend to do that, right? She's so beautiful, she's just his type, she is blah blah blah, and he just likes her better, he chose her, and then she's on a pedestal and you're down there, and all of your insecurities are being triggered, and that is no way to live. So this is something that you need to understand, that most likely, if you had a deep connection and you had great chemistry, and something happened, maybe you were a bit anxious, right? Or maybe you were a bit controlling, or it's just the fact that they think that the age gap is too big, or whatever the reason is. It can be a bunch of things. I'm just giving you some examples here, but because of those reasons, they have just chosen an easier option. So stop putting yourself down, and stop putting the third person on a pedestal. Okay, I hope this helps.